You know, sometimes the biggest names in music aren't always the ones standing in the spotlight. Sometimes they're the writers, the creators, the visionaries behind the songs that become part of people's lives. Tonight's guest has spent years building a career through talent, persistence, and a genuine love for music, from writing, charting records, to creating his own lane as an artist. He's proof that success isn't always about the fastest route, it's about staying committed to the journey. Tonight we're talking songwriting, artistry, perseverance, and the power of good energy. Let's get into it. Smoke and Ice begins now.
Smoke and ice, twice as nice. I'm your vice. Smoke and ice.
Welcome to Smoke and Ice with Kelly Allen. This is the podcast where you're not only informed, but entertained. Sit back, relax, and remember, where there's smoke, there's fire, and you can't chill without ice. Now, here's your host, Kelly Allen.
Smoke and ice.
You have entered another episode of Smoke and Ice, where smoke meets sophistication and ice meets intensity. I'm Kelly. Tonight's guest is a singer, songwriter, recording artist, and creative force whose work has touched some of the biggest names in R&B. After spending years developing his craft in New York, he built an impressive catalog of music while establishing himself as a respected songwriter and artist. Many people know him for his contribution to the soundtrack of Tyler Perry's Daddy's Little Girls, where the powerful song Struggle No More, performed by Anthony Hamilton, Jaheim, and Musiq Soulchild, climbed to number 4 on the Billboard charts. But that's only part of the story. With more than 100 original songs, multiple projects, and a growing movement built around positivity and purpose, he continues to evolve while staying rooted in authentic soul music. His last project, GEO II Deluxe, continues the message he's carried throughout his career. Good energy only. That's what we like right here. Tonight we're talking music, songwriting, inspiration, and the journey behind the artist. Please help me welcome to Smoke and Ice, Christopher Terrell, aka R&B Terrell. Welcome.
That was an awesome entrance. I think the best one thus far. Thank you very much, Ms.
That's
Kelly.
what I do.
Appreciate you. Yeah, that's all right there.
All right.
Yeah, you got me feeling good now. Yeah, okay.
Well, listen.
That's what's up. Thank
But
you.
first, I want to say thank you for being here. And thank you for being in the house, because inside of my house, you are always welcome. I love you being here.
I appreciate you.
Before we begin this amazing conversation tonight, we must do what makes us Smoke and Ice. That's our bourbon and our cigar. Tonight, we're featuring Yellowstone American Single Malt Whiskey, a bold and exciting addition to the Yellowstone family of spirits. While Yellowstone built its reputation on bourbon, this American Single Malt showcases a completely different side of the distillery's craftsmanship. On the nose, you'll find rich notes of honey, toasted malt, vanilla, baked orchard fruit, and the palate delivers layers of caramelized sugar, roasted nuts, dark honey, soft oak, and warm baking spices, creating a profile that's both approachable and complex. Unlike traditional bourbons that lean heavily on corn sweetness, this American Single Malt introduces a rich grain, character, and a deep roasted quality that whiskey enthusiasts will immediately appreciate. The finish is smooth, lingering, and beautiful, balanced with notes of malt oak and gentle spice. It's sophisticated, flavorful, and perfect for a conversation like this one. So we've got them poured. Let's cheers.
Salud.
Salud.
As my kids do.
And I didn't do it, but I don't, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
But so how do you like it?
It's smooth. It's super smooth. I like that.
I
I never
agree.
had this before.
Right, and normally I don't go to the whiskeys like that, and
Yeah.
I might branch out a little bit. I'm more of a straight Kentucky bourbon, and don't y'all catch me in a lie, because I have tried some of the North Carolina bourbons. They're up here.
Right.
not quite as, they're on the more sweeter side than the Kentucky bourbons,
Right.
but this is a nice go-to.
Yeah.
I think I would definitely buy that
I'm
one.
actually gonna check this out. Turn it on to
again.
my guys.
If you follow me, you will know that I have done this one before, but I didn't quite give it justice, so we brought it back just to make sure that we actually bring the smoke. So tonight's featured cigar is the AJ Fernandez Last Call. Originally blended as a special cigar reserved for the final smoke of the evening among friends and family, the Last Call has become one of AJ Fernandez's most beloved creations. This medium to full-bodied cigar delivers a rich and balanced profile that punches above its size, because it is short, but it gives a lot of pack to it. From the first draw, you'll notice notes of cedar, roasted nuts, earth, black pepper, and natural tobacco sweetness. As the cigar develops, subtle hints of cocoa, espresso, and baking spices begin to emerge, creating a smooth yet flavorful smoking experience. The wrapper is Ecuadorian Habano Rosado. The binder is Nicaraguan, and the filler is also Nicaraguan. The construction is excellent, producing a creamy smoke with remarkable balance and consistency from start to finish. This is the kind of cigar that rewards both new smokers and seasoned aficionados alike. So let's go ahead and light up. And I don't think, I used to have two on set, but guess what?
I didn't even bring my bag, and so
It's okay.
I don't have my lighter either.
What had happened was we had a really a beautiful female artist on, and when I had a co-host, he gave her.
Thank you. It's a nice lighter too you got here. I try not to put it in my pocket. Yeah. Last call.
Last Call. It is definitely something that at the end of the night will set everything off right, because you've had enough to drink and everything else.
Right.
I would think it was more medium to full bodied, not just a medium body, but I mean, it does what it does.
Right. Not bad.
But I wanted to give this one a try again, because I felt like we rushed through it the last time.
Right.
I felt like we didn't really give it its justice, didn't really savor everything to get all of the notes and everything else like that. And once you know how it's constructed and the flavors that it gives, you can kind of pick those up then. Your mind is ready for them and you're looking for those flavors.
Right.
So I like that. But this is the fun part. We're going to come into the flavor science. How does it all come together? How do they complement each other? That's where we're going to start. The Yellowstone American Single Malt brings honey, toasted malt, vanilla, and roasted nut characteristics that naturally align with the AJ Fernandez Last Call cedar. The earth, nutty flavor profile that comes from that cigar, that all goes with everything that is in that bourbon. As you sip the whiskey, the malt sweetness, and it's not, by no means is it a heavy sweetness, but it's a subtle sweetness enough to enhance everything else. It brings out the cigar's natural tobacco sweetness, which is where the complementary comes in. So with all those notes, amplifying the whiskey's caramelized sugar and toasted grain character, together they create a richer and more layered experience than either could provide on its own. So they actually go together, okay? But they do contrast a little bit, but it works. Where the whiskey leans towards a smooth honey sweetness. We talked about the toasted malt and all that other good stuff. The Last Call introduces earthier notes of cedar, pepper, and espresso. So you've got sweet. It's almost like those people who like kettle corn.
Right.
You know what I mean? You like the sweet and the salty. This is almost like sweet and savory. You got the sweetness from the whiskey and the savory from the cigar.
Yeah.
And so it just works. And the contrast creates movement across the palate. And each sip softens the cigar, while each draw reveals deeper dimensions in the whiskey. And I love that. So the overall pairing experience is less about power and more about harmony. The whiskey offers elegance, warmth, and sweetness. The cigar contributes structure, earthiness, and complexity. Neither dominates the other. Instead, they move together in a way that feels intentional, balanced, and incredibly satisfying.
Nice.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I like
like
it. Or what he can't say it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
That's what's up.
But this is what Smoking Ice is all about. Real conversations, a great cigar, and an experience that stays with you. Because when everything comes together like this, it's not just something you watch, it's something you feel. Thank you, Ali and his crew from Joker Smoker. As always, you are great to us. They supplied our cigars for this evening, and we are so appreciative of everything you do. We've got 2 locations that you can visit if you are in the Triangle area, and they will be somewhere right around here. So make sure you go when you're in there, because it's an experience and educational at its best. So we're going to get back to this amazing, or we're going to start, because we didn't start anything. You see, y'all used to me doing this in the middle. I think so am I, but we're going to get to this great conversation because I've got a great individual sitting here with me today. Smoking Ice continues next. Hi, I'm Kelly Allen. Join me each weekday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. for Midday Energy Rush on Positive365.net. I'll bring you all your favorite music from every genre and every decade, plus comedy and positive thoughts all in one place. Go to Positive365.net and you won't be disappointed. That's Positive365.net. We're positively different.
Positively different. Positive 365.
We are starting our amazing conversation with Christopher Terrell, aka R&B Terrell. So let's get into it. We're going to start at the beginning. When was it that you first realized that music wasn't just something that you loved, it was something that you were called to do?
It kind of it may go back and forth a little.
It's okay.
When I was young, you know, my parents had me in like the junior choir, and the embracing that I received when I was, you know, saying my solo or a solo was always, you know, wow, he needs to do this. I remember my mother being in the hospital, and I had to sing this song. It was probably one of my first big solos, and everybody was calling her in the hospital telling me about it. So I kind of felt something. But I was 5 years old in kindergarten, and my music teacher was teaching this color song. I always call it the color song. I don't know the exact name of the song, but it's red and yellow, pink and green, purple and orange and blue. I can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow too. You know, so that my teacher was teaching us this song, and she stopped the class and told me to come up to the piano, and she made me sing it again by myself. And she made me sing it again, and she sent a note home to my mother. It's like, I don't know if you know your son can sing like this, but you know. So that's where, you know, my mother was like, well, we might have to put him in the choir. So it kind of started with that. But when I was in high school, we had something called the Aggregate. I know I'm jumping all over the places, but it was several moments. So when I got to high school, I had quit the choir, right? I was too cool for the choir. My dad hated it. So, you know, he always wanted me to go to choir rehearsal. It was all about church. I'm in my rebellious years. You know, didn't like my father at the time, you know, because he was always the disciplinary, you know, just making me do this, that, and the other. So I ended up quitting the choir. But they had this show every year called the Air Guitar. It was kind of like putting on the hits. And go out there and sing and dance, and I could dance really good. And that got me hyped. Everybody was all into that. You see these great dances, you meet all these creatives. And then my friend, when I got my junior year, my friend started a gospel choir at the school and pulled me in. And from there, that's when I really was like, I think this might be something that I could really hone into, because I love the stage. I love the applauses and the embracing you would get. So I think when I was about 17, that's when it really was like, okay, I might want to do something with this.
Listen, you different because I know most guys join the choir because all the girls was in the choir.
Nah, but that wasn't a bad thing though at the time because it was a lot in there. But yeah, I was pulled in.
Nice.
I was pulled in at that time.
So I understand that artists like Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, they had major influences on your sound. What was it about those artists that spoke to you?
Man, Mike, he's like my, he's my mentor. I didn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his presence, his sound, his, the human nature. I mean, just, you know, that album was just crazy to me. That was my, Off the Wall album was everything to me. And just even with ABC, that we would see them on the cartoons and things of that nature. I was like, I just thought this guy was everything. But he was a major influence on me just because of his stage presence, along with his sound. And Stevie Wonder, when I got to New York, and you start learning the business, I didn't appreciate Stevie as much as I did when I was, in my youth, as I did when I got to New York in '92, because I started digging into the songs of Key of Life.
Oh,
So that was like a whole lesson on music. So Stevie is like his range, his riffs, his writing, his just everything that he embodied in creating.
I love his major chords.
Untouchable.
Because it's something about them that he takes you on a journey, and it's a learning, in
Right.
a whole bunch of different ways.
Right.
But yeah. So I can see that. So, I mean, and we all have our famous influencers,
Yeah.
but you talked about, your dad was disciplinary. He wanted you in the choir.
Yeah.
Do you feel like in any way that you look back on it now that he was an influence in?
He was a major influence because he was, he taught me work ethic. He rooted me in God. He could also sing as well. His first cousins and his brother, they had a group called the Golden Ears of Garner that traveled the whole Bible Belt. My great-grandfather was like the first person in North Carolina to have a record label. So he was like the guy, you know what I mean? And so he definitely had a major influence on me. My mother, soprano, she could sing. And they just, it's funny, I was telling somebody this the other night. We would go to my grandfather's house, my mother's father, and my cousin, I call her Big Cuz, she's the oldest cousin in the family. She would make me play that funky music, White Boy, in front of the whole family, just so they could laugh, you know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, play that funky music, White Boy. Everybody be in there jamming, and they laughing at the same time,
Right.
because this little black kid singing this white song, you know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, it was, my family was just fun. It was just crazy like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, music definitely seems like it was at your core.
Yeah.
It was almost the heartbeat of your family.
Yeah.
And that's an amazing thing.
Absolutely.
Because when it's like that, you don't have to worry about it being forced or you trying to find your way. It's just something that you were used to
Right.
always.
Correct.
And because of that, you've written and recorded more than 100 original songs.
I mean, way more than that now, but yeah.
Of course. And that's why I say more than, because we lose count after a while, but it doesn't take away from any one of those projects. They're all unique and special in their own way.
Absolutely.
When you're writing, do you start with the melody, the story, or the emotion?
I've done all of the
Done
above.
all
When I'm working with producers, I usually start with melodies, because most of the producers that I work with, they want to play tracks. You know what I mean? So of course you're in there vibing, you feeling it out. Then you catch a melody and you start writing from there. Maybe you start writing your hook, or maybe you start writing your verse. Whatever hits you first, or whatever. Because really, sometimes you don't know if this is going to be the hook or the verse. It just depends on how catchy it is.
Right.
when I'm, like you said earlier when we were speaking, if I'm in my car, if I'm just thinking something could hit me, and I'll just start singing it, you know what I mean? Like a melody, and just coming up with different things. I don't do that as much anymore, unless you're just with, unless I'm with like a producer who wants to build off of something I organically, like we just building. So I don't do that as much anymore, but I used to do that most when I first started, because I had to learn how to write songs and how to structure songs and things of that nature. So I did a lot of that. I did a lot of writing with that. But yeah, that's
You said something right there, structure. Because, you know, a lot of times, I started mine out with poetry, which is a structure all on it to itself. But when you're talking about verses, my producer got on me about you can't put that there. You know, that's what you want to say, but you have to find a better way to say it because it has to flow. It has to musically go. And it is a process. It's so much of, well, dang, you know, but it takes you deeper into being creative and to using words to make people feel exactly what you're feeling when you thought it in your head. And a lot of people they just think they can just write anything they want and sing it to a beat and it's okay. And it's like, okay, that's cute. Yeah. You know, but it doesn't draw people in because the structure is missing. And so therefore you're missing that element that's going to really make your music pop. And so a lot of people don't know that. And it's funny that because that's off the cuff. It ain't nothing I wrote. What do you feel helps make a song connect with people?
Simplicity. Simplicity, as well as the conviction of the way you deliver the song. Conviction is everything. If it's believable, if they can believe what you're saying, you got them. Right. And a lot of people don't realize, especially nowadays, everything is microwavable and popcorn type music. So it's not, well, at least the ones that are promoted, because a lot of people are still making that type of music, but it's just you don't hear it because that's not what the commercial or quote unquote the machine is behind. Right. But going back to structure, one thing that I marvel about major artists that are out there that really don't really have to follow structure. They can just deliver a song just how they feel. It could be any type of way. You know what I mean? It could be 6 bars, then a vamp, then a bridge, then a 6 bars. It's and they can sell it because people are gonna listen. I love that aspect about creating because it's what they felt. It's what they felt, but I feel like, and this is just me going back into my mental Rolodex of all the music I listen to. I feel like those who have gone off the scripts, they started with structure, but they built an audience big enough to say, what I say now, it just flows, and it's good. It doesn't take away from it, but people aren't distracted by it because they already know what they're going to bring. Just like when a lot of these artists, they're reaching back and they're bringing that old school sound back, right? Well, if you're a new artist and you're not known, unless you are the October Londons that come out and you can hit them with that old school, most people are not really checking for you because they want to hear what is going on right now. And so it's just, you either got it or you don't. That's right. That's right. Absolutely. You don't. Yeah, because they can tell right away. Yeah. They usually can tell right away. And they can tell whether you really you mean it, whether you feel it, or if you're just doing it because you're trying to make a check. And that getting a check is not going to help you stay in longevity. It really is not. Well, that's one thing about this business and this music thing. You can't run after the money. And expect to have longevity or even really be respected in it. They can respect your money, don't get me wrong, but the main people that love it, I love this thing, those are the ones that have the people. Even if you got 10 people that like this guy right here or this lady right here, Kelly is phenomenal. I love hearing her. You know what I mean? And that's what you want.
Right.
That's what you want. You want people to truly feel you and mean it, and not just say it because somebody else said it.
Yeah.
You know?
So do you find that your writing is consistent, or do you write differently for yourself versus others, or?
For myself, like, as of late, I'm doing something a little different these days. And I actually got it from my son. I taught my son how to write songs and structure songs. And, I have a small setup in my home. And my son, he gets, his folks to come through sometimes. And they don't like sit and pen songs like we used to, right? So they'll just get on the mic. And as they are listening, they're coming up with lyrics, right? I've only done that really a few times, but I loved it because it was new. It was like refreshing, like a new way to do something. And it allowed me to like really flip more melodies, right? So normally, with my melodies, I'm doing, when I write a song, when I first start penning a song, my melodies are really the same, right? For like the same for the verse, and I come with a B section. It'll be the same for the B section, and then the hook, might have some, melodic phrases here and there. And then once I kind of learn the song, I play around with it as I record. But if I'm writing a song and recording at the same time, it allows me to really tear a song up. I mean, again, it's new for me, but I like it.
Right.
I like doing stuff like it, but that's when I'm alone. That's my alone time, and I can just do that with nobody telling me like, "No, do this, no, do that," or try this. That's just me playing around, but it comes out.
And usually the most organic playing around stuff gives you the best results than when you're trying to go in and you've already figured out in your head what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because those things come out and you're like, oh, I don't know. But the feeling comes out in those organic moments where you're just saying, let me try this. And you're like, oh, I like that. And then you build off of that and it just grows into something different. So I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's talk about Struggle No More. This record that kind of, I don't want to say it changed everything because you were your own person before this, but absolutely. Having a song like this go on, and let's be clear, anything that Tyler Perry puts out and anything that's inclusive of that is going to reach masses of a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
And because of that, it reached number 4 on the Billboard, the R&B Billboard charts.
Right.
But it also became a part of Daddy's Little Girls.
Right.
What was it like hearing your song, something that you wrote?
It was awesome. I mean, it was awesome to get that call and be like, it's a go. Because when I was asked to be part of the writing team for that soundtrack, got Big Herb and Big Pooh, Darnell Winston, who's Tamika Scott's husband. I was real tight with him. I did some work with them in New York before they moved to Atlanta many years ago.
Yeah, because she's on the writing credits as well for that.
For the remix. But when they told me what the song about, I had already written the song. I was working with Havoc from Mobb Deep, and his engineer wanted this guy named Steve Sawler. They call him the Mix King, so he used to mix all the big dogs records, especially hip hop, but a lot of the Bad Boy, rock, everybody. He was mixing everybody records at the time. They called him Mix King. Italian dude, hair all the way down to his butt. He was producing also, but on a smaller scale. Everybody didn't know he was producing, so he asked me to work with him. And at that time, I had just moved from Brooklyn to Staten Island, and I was coerced into moving in my wife's mother's basement to save some money and buy a house in Staten Island. It didn't last but 6 weeks, but but in those 6 weeks, I was in that basement one day, and I just wrote "Struggle No More." my man had given me the track, and I wrote that song. So when he asked me to write it, he told me what Daddy's Little Girl was all about. I was like, I already got a song for that. And they heard it, was like,
did you get the script?
yeah. So, it goes to Tyler. He loved it. Threw Anthony Hamilton on it. He killed it. And then that's when Tamika and everybody came in and did the remix, and flipped the hook. And it went crazy. Yeah, it went crazy from there.
Yeah. So at what point, because we talk about all the preliminary stuff, you already writing it, you being pulled in. At what point did you realize that it had the impact that it did?
It was touching. Because it's so real. Many people struggle and don't talk about it, right? Even today, I get people saying, "Yeah, this is still one of my favorite records ever," because it hits home. Nobody wants to struggle. Everybody wants to I want a house with a pool, the whole nine. I don't want to eat at McDonald's no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that dollar meal.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want that anymore. I want my kids to have something. I want to have something. And everybody gets tired of the struggle, especially when you're a person that's a hard worker and you're trying to get it and you're trying to get it the right way. Nobody wants to struggle, so everybody can relate to that. Even people that don't want to do it the right way, they can relate to that because they hustling doing these things maybe that may not be illegal because they don't want to struggle no more. They're tired of living in the projects. They're tired of not being able to pay rent and things of that nature. So it was so relatable. That's why it took off like that.
Right. Yeah, we all go through so much, and it's not talked about because it's so taboo, So to be able to give a song to people to relate to, and to say, I feel where you're coming from.
Right.
I don't want to be here either,
Right.
But you can, just work hard, put the work in, grind, do what you got to do.
Right.
And I like that. I like that. And it seems as if you did with this song, you work with a community of people, to do that. And that gives inspiration to other people to work with a community of people, not for a song, but for whatever it is that you want to do to make sure you can get to that next level so that you don't have to struggle anymore.
It's that part, because a lot of people, and this business is weird. As we all know, a lot of people you get robbed for their publishing and things of that nature in this business. And, I was offered many deals with a lot of people and record labels through my tenure. And the main reason why things didn't work out for the most part is because I wouldn't give up my publishing. And so I wouldn't compromise my integrity for that just because I knew, unless you give me like millions of dollars up front, I wasn't willing to sacrifice that.
And I'm gonna tell you why. I gotta form my words right. There are so many people hungry to get on, they'll accept nothing, thinking it's something just to get on.
And then you're mad later.
And be mad later. I'd rather say no than to sell myself short for a quick, small amount and keep my integrity, keep my intellectual property, keep everything that I have, than to watch it blow up and, you were already paid, so you don't get nothing else. And so many people get caught up in that. And we just have to educate ourselves. There's a whole library full of information where you don't have to get sold short. But at the end of the day, this will still continue to happen because there are so many people that are just wanting that quick microwave dollar.
Correct.
And I'm not for it.
And people always will try to take advantage of you, especially if they think you need them and they can do something for you, or you think that they can do something or doing something for you. And don't get me wrong, you have to sometimes give up some things to get it, right? To a certain extent.
Right.
You don't give up everything, and you can't be ignorant to that. If you are giving up something, know you're giving up something. And that's what a lot of people don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or didn't know. You're getting more, people are more educated now because of the internet and people are talking about it more. But people are still, because of this world that we're in, they get so caught up in trying to impress people they forget about taking care of themselves.
And those people are not going to pay your bills. They're not going to put food on your table. They're not going to, if something happens, they're not going to say, well, come on over to my house. They're going to be like, nah.
None of that. None of that. It's crazy. You know, I went up to New York with a partner of mine. His name is Adrian Hinton. We were a duo. And, you know, we ended up getting our first deal with RCA Records. And at the same time, Puff offered us a deal. So it became like this thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
It was dope at the time, you know, but we ended up, because of the way we were reared, you know what I mean? We went with the people who were, you know, taking care of us and whatnot. And the deal eventually fizzled out, didn't work out because of some background type stuff was going on. And we ended up going back to Puff like a year later after that. And he had just got fired from Uptown, and Clive had just given him big R.I.P. Clive Davis. Clive had just given him this big deal with money, and he had already signed his first 5 acts.
Wow.
So we couldn't get in at the time, but he gave Heavy D my number and had called me. So that kind of kept us in the game. So after that, things are just, we're able to get our bearing then, you know what I mean? Just start doing things. But it was, we got a lot of wild stories.
A lot of wild stories, and around a lot of heavy hitters out there, because wow, Heavy D was one of the greatest guys I ever met in the business. Yeah.
Went to church with his mom, his pops, his family. Been to his house, dinners, you know. It was just dope, you know, dope people, Jamaicans, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Never knew he was Jamaican until we got around his family, you know.
They're speaking patois.
Yeah.
You like, huh?
You know what I mean? Didn't know. But
right. Well, beyond songwriting, you've continued to develop your own voice as an artist.
Yeah.
How has your sound evolved over the years?
I've always had a strong voice, but I always kind of played myself low, where I didn't really want to. I always like to let other people shine. That was my problem,
right.
You know. And I went through something major, you know, in my early years, and it kind of woke me up of who I was and the type of people that I needed to be around or not around. And when that happened, it not only woke me up mentally, but it woke my voice up as well. And I just matured overall,
right.
and all around. So that really triggered everything and made me who I am today when I you know, hit the stage. And you know, we've had our things that make us
and those things, although we don't want to go through them at the time, it develops us and it makes us better people. You know, it brings us into where we were supposed to be all along. We just couldn't see it because we were too busy taking the back seat to other people and
That's right.
and cheering other people on when they weren't cheering you on. You know, and so sometimes, you know, why did I have to? Because you were too busy allowing everybody else to shine instead of you. So I had to show you better than I could tell you who you are and where you need to walk into. Right. So I love that. You know, I don't know what it was, and I hate that it happened, but it made you who you are, and it brought you to where you are.
I mean, I thank God for it. It didn't feel good at the time. You know what I mean? It never feels good when you're going through these things, you know, but it grows you up, it matures you. It gives you wisdom where you can teach others, right? And I'm blessed by it. You know what I mean? So I'm good now. You know, it's I'm glad it happened. It was supposed to be that way. Yeah. One of God's lessons. Say, hey, boy, you know what I mean?
Never.
Watch who you be with, sir. Don't let everybody in your world.
No. Oh my gosh. Everybody can't walk with you. We try and bring some people, but some people have to be left behind, not because they're bad people, just because they're not ready for the level that you're going. And so sometimes you got to walk away, and that's okay.
Learn to love people from a distance.
From a distance.
You know, and that's what I had to do.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do that. I let everybody, you know, family, so-called friends, you know, because everybody that's family ain't family.
everybody ain't friends.
Everybody friends. You know what I mean? So
some people you have to just say, you know what, it is what it is.
it is what it is.
Still love you, but
And that's how I came up
see
with Writing Life too. You know,
Okay.
Writing Life is my publishing company.
Okay.
And that's my entertainment company as well, but that's what I wanted to speak on. It's life.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's nothing that's made up. It's completely transparent and real.
Yeah, what we say now, life be life.
Life be life.
Life be life.
Life be life, man.
So let's go back to your first solo album,
Mm-hmm.
Living Like a Soldier. It was released in 2005.
Oh man.
And it featured production from Havoc, Mobb Deep. You talked about it a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Looking back now, how did that project help shape the artistry that you've become, the artist that you've become today?
Well, it taught me about independency. I had just finished working with Shaft, who discovered Cardi B. I was doing a lot of work with him. And I had been working with like Tony Dofat, another Grammy Award winning producer, a guy named LaVolta Allen, another guy we call Med, Steve Soul. It was just, I had been working with so many different producers over the time, and I had been doing all these demos. You know, they always calling me to the studio, I'm writing, and you know, they put me in this contest one year in New York, and I won it. Like people from all over the US came, and I killed the show, and they was like, well, you can take this money and we'll, you know, help you put out your first independent album, basically. And that's what happened. I did that. I was selling in Italy, Germany, Japan. You know, I was selling all over the world. You
And
know,
why is
was
it that we
crazy.
got to sell out overseas before we come back here and people pick it up here?
was crazy.
That's a whole nother show, y'all.
It-
We're not gonna go
yeah,
there, but it's crazy.
It was crazy, you know. But that's what got me popping. It was like I was selling. I mean, this one DJ hit me. He bought 250 of my CDs.
Wow.
I was like, okay. You know what I mean? Okay. I think he was in France. I want to say France, but it was just crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's all like going in my pocket. You know what I mean? Like I was like, okay, yeah.
Listen.
That's how you do it. You know. So I was blessed by that. That really. And that album, like I was working with this guy named Coptic, who was working with a lot of people as well. His studio was super dope, right? So I did a lot of recordings in there. And so it was all quality music. Like I said, Shaft, multiples. I mean, I can't even count the number of songs with him and the guy Med I was telling you about. Like, there was that Living Like a Soldier meant the world to me because I had just formed me. I'm solo now. Me and my boy went our separate ways. It was all about me, and I was rising. I had put all the BS behind me, and that's what it was all about, living like a soldier. And I left New York, which was another big thing. I wasn't ready to leave New York.
It's like, who leaves New
I
York
went
right
home,
now?
and you know, like when you're trying to do things, like, cause I was kind of like in a tug of war with myself too, cause I got kids now, and I'm trying to put them in the best situation as possible.
So now, let's
Yeah.
let's be real. So the best situation educationally would have been to stay in New York, because New York had one of the better school systems.
Right.
But as far as the environment, you know, coming to the South, and that was why I made my move from, you know, I wasn't in the city, I was in Buffalo, New York, but moving from there with my son at the time to here was
Yeah.
more of a quality of life to get away from
Yeah.
certain things. So I get that. And sometimes we make decisions because of our family.
Correct.
Because the love of our family is bigger than the love of what we're in right now.
Correct.
Because if it is for you, you can always create it wherever you are.
Period.
Wherever you are.
But the problem with me when I first came back home, you know, leaving, I had just got the nod for the Struggle No More, right? I'm working with Havoc. It was just a lot of great things going on. I'm moving here. I didn't have any connections here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So going back and forth to New York was, you know, the only thing I really could do at the time. And so that kind of discouraged me. So with all the demos and things I put together, that's when I decided to release my first album.
Gotcha.
So I was like, I got to keep doing something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what triggered the Living Like a Soldier album.
Yeah. You did. And then 5 years later, in 2010, you released Cool to Love God, which showed a completely, different side of your artistry. Still great, but it was just different from what you gave before. What inspired that project, and where were you at in that season of your life? Was that the movement, or what was it?
At the time, I was just not feeling appreciated and kicking out a lot of money. Other people were eating off me, and I'm steadily sharing my finances with everybody. And it's Cool to Love God came about because I was really involved in the church at the time. I'm trying to get my kids. You got to root them before it gets crazy where you can't.
Right.
So I had them in the church. But I think one mistake I made with that project was I had never recorded with a band before, right? So it wasn't I wasn't an SME. You know what I mean? That wasn't my expertise, right? So I'm trying to get certain things together. Although, I think it turned out cool, but I was accustomed to working with producers, tracks, and things of that nature. And when you get a band where everybody is kind of like rookies to this recording thing, it just didn't come off the way I wanted it. We got some great songs. I put like 20 songs on this project, and it was I think it was a lot of great songs, but some elements of it just wasn't what I wanted it to be and what I know it could have been. But I was thankful to take other people through that process because they were so excited to be a part of that project, and we went around to a lot of different places performing and things of that nature, and I learned a lot about the church at that time. So
yeah,
I was a little disappointed in people because I'm thinking that with church people are going to be this way and the other, but a lot of the church people have no sense of time. They have no sense of and when I say sense of time, this is what I mean. You know how when you go to an award ceremony or something like that, everybody has a certain amount of time. You go up there, you get it done, you out. You got a lot of show-offs in church, folks.
right.
They wanna, and God forgive me, He know I ain't lying. A lot of hallelujah folks, they want have people jumping around for 10, 15 minutes when you got all these other artists that has to perform.
And you're there until midnight.
Like, dude.
You were there
Like,
until midnight.
I just thought it was so disrespectful because I knew what they were doing wasn't always about God. Now, you got some now, the spirit, everybody felt that. But then you got show-offs.
They're trying to invoke the spirit when it's not there, and just trying to raise themselves up instead of that. So it's a lot, and I completely understand.
And then you got people that didn't really want to pay. It was just I just felt people are trying to abuse me all around, and it made me feel a certain way about that, and I felt like and I could, like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who's felt that way or been in that position, but I found more in the R&B and the pop world, like these people never treated me like that. You know what I mean? That I worked with,
and I think it's because it's a business in the R&B world, right? But when we get into church, it goes into, all right, brother, you gonna do this for me? Because, but it's still your time. It's still your artistry. It's still your gift that you're giving. And you're there, yes, to give to the people, but you're an artist first. It's still a business.
It's still a business. And like I said, I love God. That's why I was like, it's cool to love God. I'm trying to get people to know how cool it is to love God. I was real with God. Me and God got this dope relationship. Me and him, we cool. You know what I mean? Am I perfect? Hell to the no. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm not. but I know he loves me. He saved my life. I just beat cancer. You know, I know he rocks with me hard. You know what I mean? And he's not done with me yet.
Right.
So, but my thing is, when it comes to the church, you either about God or you're not.
Right.
And a lot of people are just not.
Right.
You know, it's all about status, quote unquote, something like that.
So let's talk about the GEO project. Love it. I love it. And we want to talk about the good energy only, because everybody talks about, I only want good energy, and then they don't really live by that mantra. But what does good energy only mean to you?
Exactly what it just said. Good energy only. Right. So I get real deep sometimes.
No, get deep. We can dive.
My dad was diagnosed with dementia back in, I think, maybe 2017. I was diagnosed with cancer 2018. Found out my dad had dementia the same, a few months after I was diagnosed, because they didn't tell us right away, of course. You know, black people, they hold things.
Everything.
Yeah. So at that time, I'm trying to like figure out like, what's this gonna look like for me? So I'm trying. At this time, my youngest daughter wanted to have a quinceañera, which is like not a sweet 16, but 15. Yeah,
coming into womanhood.
Yeah,
yes.
coming in. So she wanted to do that. So I'm like, I'm making sure, like, if anything happened to me, I want to get all this stuff done. So I started going hard with my son, recording, and just trying to get myself together. So that went on for a few years, and then one of my best friends who had linked me with like Mobb Deep and all, he was in the business behind the scenes, writing, and had just started producing a movie called Equal Standard. His name is Jaheim Bryant, and Ice-T and Tretch and all these other people. He's had like 100 different actors in this movie. Dope. And he got killed while I'm on the phone with him, and it messed me up kind of bad. And I'm trying to do this project at the time, and everything I'm writing and everything I'm doing is kind of dark. It's kind of just,
I mean, but to be fair,
yeah.
Why wouldn't it be? That was your truth at that time because of everything that was going on.
It was so deep though. It didn't need to come out on record.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it was like that.
Okay.
Real painful. And I never forget, I'm in the studio with Magic Reed. Magic Reed, he's worked with Prince,
Mariah Carey.
Dope dude. And I wrote this song. I never forget, I'm writing this song to this track. And we're in the studio, he was like, yo. He stopped, he said, yo, we can't put that out, Terrell. he said, yo, let's go to lunch. We went and got some lunch, we had a drink, we talked. And I came back to the studio and I wrote this song. And that's how Good Energy only came about. It was like, I gotta come up with something that's gonna keep me away from darkness.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the only way I could do that was try to fight my way through it and not, so I would, anytime I started feeling down about anything, you know what I mean? Because like watching my dad, you know, it's the slow goodbye.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like knowing him, who he was and to what he is right now. I mean, thank God we still have him, but he's not who he was. You know what I mean? And then with my boy Jaheim, you know, everything was just dark to me. So I had to fight my way out of it. Not that it was make believe, but that's the only. It was like that was my counsel. You know, that was my I'm doing it to myself, trying to talk myself out of this darkness. And that's how Good Energy only came about. I had to do something. It had to save my life. You know what I mean? Because I was in a space. You know what I mean?
It's almost like you're in the middle of the ocean drowning. And how do you save yourself? But for yourself.
Yeah, for myself.
But for yourself.
Yes.
Wow.
And that's good. I had to save myself for myself.
Yeah.
And save myself from myself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Because our thoughts can be our worst enemy as much as they can be our best ally.
Right.
And it's that thought change, and I'm so glad that you had the mindset to say that I'm not going to go this way. I need to go this way, and I have to think this way.
I have to give credit to my man Magic too, because he was like, "What, dude?" Jeez. He's like, "Yeah, we can't go there. We can't go there." So he helped deflect,
right?
Because I was going there. I was mad. I was hurt. It was everything. All those dark emotions were just all there. It was, and although a couple songs could have worked. But
it just wouldn't have been good vibes.
It wouldn't have been good vibes.
But that's where we were talking about earlier about how some people can't go with this, is having those people in our midst that will check us and say, look, I know I can't let you go this direction. And those are the people that we need in our lives, especially with what we're talking. Right, Mr. Check.
He's Mr. Check. Magic Reed, he's Mr. Check. Like,
Mr. Check.
You were like, what? He was always, he's he's like a real producer. He's not a beat maker, nothing like that. He's a real producer. He's gonna tell you, he's gonna talk crap to you, like, yo, nah, why you, dude, you can write us like you, one of my best writers, what are you doing? What,
Right.
He's that guy. Tell him, don't feel sorry for yourself. Get up. I just sent you 10 tracks. What are you doing? We need to send them to some people.
We got to get them out there.
Yeah, like,
get off your behind and let's get this
because
stuff
you get
done.
into your zones, and not that it's sometimes you have to go into your zones as well, because it has to be a balance. But he definitely is. He's a true producer, and that's what I love about him.
I love that. So with the GEO II Deluxe, you it's a blend of R&B, hip hop, pop, soul.
Yeah.
What do you think that this project says about you, Christopher Terrell, or AKA R&B Terrell?
For me, it allowed me to kind of give a story. Like, I'm not to be played with. At the same time, I can step 3 times with you. We can get our step on. We can love each other. I kind of gave you every element of who I am. I kind of told my story about how, God stepped in and got me to where I am. I gave you a story because I did the collabs on this, so it's a lot of hip hop collaborations on this. Where Out the Rain, where I was girl Kiki Quiet. So we did Out the Rain, dope song, just kind of telling a story about a toxic relationship that I had to turn around and make right. You ever been in a relationship that was kind of toxic? Y'all love each other, but y'all know this ain't gonna work too long. It's good for the moment, but
that's next time. Next time.
But so I kind of gave you just about every element of emotion, but all ending with good energy.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it was all ending in good energy.
We got a whole bunch to talk about later.
Yeah.
We got a whole bunch to talk about later.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Most people who know about my project, because I've talked about it when I was on, just a couple of weeks ago, I was on the Marty A. Johnson show, and we gave him snippets, which he wasn't happy with some of my music, but I kind of laid out, my project, and it's all about the realism, but coming all the way around to the goodness, to the good vibes. I'm still in your word, but that's really kind of where my mindset went, because you can go through all of this, but come out to the good at the end of it. At the end of it, you don't have to sit in whatever it was. And I'll let you know that you're not the only one feeling this way, but let's come out on the better end of this story. So it's a whole bunch.
Right, because the GEO Soul tape, which is where I came up with GEO, I had to write about something that I knew at that time, and that was love. although I'm going through this, I know about love. I
Right.
know how it's supposed to be, and I know how it can be. So I had to really hone in on that.
Right.
So that's what I did in the GEO Soul
Right.
tape. And then with GEO II, we kind of transferred it to everyone. Like everybody can kind of relate to this
Right.
if you dig into it.
And people can relate to love. If people can relate to love, and they also, those who have never experienced love will then can learn love
Correct.
through you.
That's right.
And so that all in itself was a healing project as well, and with great music.
And I paid
I
homage
must say.
to a lot of the great singers on that project, the GEO Soul tape, like Rick James and Marvin Gaye, and a few other people. It was just certain things that I was able to do melodically. So it's one of my better projects.
And those are some great people to pay homage to.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Rick James, that dude right there.
He's Buffalo own. He's Buffalo's own Rick
He
James.
really is. Listen, that's one. I've met a lot of celebrities in my life, but that's one person. Man, if I could have met him.
Right? So what message do you hope listeners take away from the GEO Soul project and also GEO II Deluxe?
Yeah. That I'm good at what I do, and that you can vibe off of my music, and like GEO II Deluxe is something that you can vibe with on all levels of music, if you ask me. I mean, it's no rock music in it, but everything, pop, R&B,
Soul.
it's southern soul, it's all intertwined. You can rock to it, you can make love to it, you can step to it, it's everything.
Right.
And like Solid is the first track that comes on, and my man comes in, kill it, I remember DVS first heard it, he hit me and said, man, this Solid joint is crazy, so when you get reactions from people that are in music that are giving you these accolades and telling you how dope it is, I got rave reviews for this project, but when you're independent out here and you don't have that machine behind you, you just do what you do, and I just love to love, so if you like it, you like it. I feel like if you listen to it, you're gonna like it anyway.
Right.
If you're a music person, so that's what it is.
So on your latest project, is there a particular song that's your favorite? You got the sky.
Yes. Yeah. I was Never Want to Lose probably is my favorite song. I did that featuring Cam Rue. I like it because I'm like rapping and singing. I'm not rapping, but it's kind of like the flow of it. Nobody has done that, like the way I did it. Like I'm kind of like talking and singing at the same time.
Right.
She's the type that makes her brother wanna keep a smile. The type you wanna go half with on a child. Make a brother wanna settle down. Stay committed and I take her to my mama house. Mama said that she was so pretty, educated and she make her own money. Damn, she got me feeling funny. Butterflies hypnotized and I realize I like what I see. Ain't nobody else I want rocking with me. She's positivity, take it anywhere, good vibes, energy. Yeah. Girl, you one of a kind. Girl, you are my type. Again and again and again. Yeah. Never. Ever since we began our romance, I understand that I never wanna lose your love. When we're together, girl, I'm on. Never. You're the gold, nothing close could ever touch her. You need to know that I never wanna lose your love. When we're together, girl, we are.
So I really like performing that song.
So you've been in the industry long enough to see tremendous change, and you've worked with some amazing people that we've talked about all through this whole podcast.
Yeah.
What have those collaborations taught you about excellence, and longevity in music?
Don't burn bridges. But try not to anyway. Consistency, character. My dad always taught me character is everything. And I always tell my son this, specifically, and my girls as well, but I tell my son this: show them who you are, because you have to be the authentic you.
Right.
You can't be anybody else, and that's where a lot of people fall to prey. When you're trying to be somebody else, you got to totally be yourself, and that's what it is.
I love that.
Yeah.
We have the biggest beast that has entered into the music industry, and that's AI. So, other than that, what's the biggest difference in the music business that you've seen from when you started up until today?
Well, the biggest difference is, again, from my perspective, is the authenticity. You got, like, everybody can just write something and throw it in Suno or whatever program and get a dope song. I did it. Like, I talked to AI about who I was and this, that, and other, and threw it in. Yo, this song came out so crazy. It scared me. I was like, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Like, it would make me lazy.
Right.
But it was dope. But again, it's no conviction. Like, all of them, I can now tell every AI song that I hear now.
This is what I think. I think if you put the work in, and then if you put it in AI to get suggestions to make it better, that's different. You're using a tool to enhance what you do, but you're putting the work in. But you hear a lot of people that say, "Oh, I just spit out some. I just wrote some stuff down," or like you say, I even just told them what I wanted to say, and it gave me a song. Because I've taken songs, because for me, I'd write, but I was like, it doesn't sound like today,
Right.
Because a lot of my stuff still carries that old school sound.
Exactly.
And I want it to sound like today. So I said, well, let me see what Suno said with this. But I'm not taking what Suno did and making it mine.
Correct.
I will take some of Suno and I'll try and sing some of it. Some of it, they be running too much. I ain't no runner. I ain't running up and down the street. But I'll figure it out, but I'm going to re-sing it because it's still my music, it's still my words, it's still everything that I've got going on. So I think if you use it as a tool, it won't hurt you. You're still being authentic, but you're getting help.
Listen, I use this thing almost every day, not just for music. Just I talk to it,
right?
And especially because I write, and even if I'm responding to somebody, I'm gonna write what I say, throw it in there, and get suggestions on, like, whether some errors that I may have had, or because I'm always saying, like, nah, that's not it. Like, that's not. That's not even me. I wouldn't even word this like that.
No, when AI first came out, my daughter was still in high school, and there was a couple teachers I had to send stuff to, and I was like, you know what? Don't you send a message. Say what you want to say. Put it in Chat GPT, and Chat GPT told me what to send to her teachers. Because if I had wrote
because it might sound too aggressive.
It was. I read it. My daughter said, "You're not gonna send that." I said, "No, I'm gonna put it in Chat GPT and let it fix it, and then I'm gonna send it to your teacher."
Right. There you go.
And it was such because I can be straight up. If you're doing something towards someone that I love, I can be really, really. I have no filter. I'm never gonna cuss you out because I'm educated enough to give you the words that you be like, did I just get? Yes, you did.
Right.
But I said, I can't send this.
That's right.
So I would write everything that I felt, shove it in there, and say, fix it.
Yeah. So it basically gives us a filter. For me, it gives me a filter of where I won't be so aggressive or so, without any Vaseline or whatever. Like, because sometimes we got to be raw. Like, it just is what it is. But most of the time, when you want to be professional, or if you want to be encouraging or inspirational, or just where they won't take it,
and you're like, oh, clutch
just
the pearls,
me,
right? Clutch the pearls.
I think it's good for that.
Right.
My youngest daughter hates it.
Really?
Yeah, she thinks it's bad for the world. She just my youngest daughter, her name is Destiny. She's such a natural. Like, we always said that she's gonna be the one to take care of us when we get older. Because she was like a what do you call it when they're not a child, they were 30 when they were 3.
Yeah.
She was that.
She's before her time.
Very
before her time.
Yeah, she was before her time, and so she doesn't like it at all. And she always researches everything. You know what I mean? So she doesn't think it's good for the community, the culture, anything.
Yeah.
I disagree. I think it can be good and it can do good, but at the end of the day, the way it's going, it's not going to be good.
Because it's becoming too leaned on upon everything. And that brings me right into my next question. Do you feel like for these young artists that are coming up to now, do you feel like this technology is helping or is it hurting a style?
Well, I think technology is always good to a certain extent. I think it's the abuse of it. When you're not putting in work anymore. It's like you said, like we can just throw something in to Suno or just tell them an idea and then we're gonna take it like it's ours. That's not for the creatives.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and I found myself, like I said, I've used Suno twice when it comes to like music, and I know I'm gonna use it more because a friend of mine, a pastor friend of mine, back in January, I don't want to say his name because I don't want to. He sent me this song that he did in AI. It was remarkable, and he said, "Yo, I hear you doing this.
Right.
I haven't done it yet. It's a gospel song. I haven't done it yet, but I am. You know,
It's coming.
Yeah. I am gonna do it. I have." Shout out to Frank Henderson. I can say that. That's my man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But he sent me, he sent me something back in Germany. He said, "Man, I did this and I heard you, and I didn't do anything with it yet. So just know I ain't forgot about it."
But the thing is that he came up with an idea,
Yeah.
but he wants someone real to do it, and
Correct.
then that's where real production
Yeah.
comes in. So that's still a great tool. It's not just saying I'm gonna create this and I'm gonna send it out there and sell it as a artist and give them a fake name, and now I'm making money off of this artist, but no one can ever sing this live.
Correct.
Because there's no one who actually sung it. It's AI. So
Right.
that's the problem. What advice would you give to artists trying to build a sustainable career?
To build a sustainable career, I think you really have to put in your work, and you have to do your research on the business. So I think at the end of the day, do your homework, be consistent, work hard, and be authentically you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When all is said and done, what do you want your legacy to be?
That's kind of difficult for me, but when people say goodbye to me, I want them to remember me as someone who loved God and loved the people.
And and legacy is not always when you leave this earth.
Right.
It is sometimes when you say you put down what you're doing and saying, I want to focus on whatever it is you want to focus on, but my music is left.
Yeah.
Because we have a motivation to keep us working, and in that motivation, we hope that we leave something for someone somewhere in that. And so that is what I'm really looking for. Is what do you want them to know?
So that right there. So I always get joy out of having songs that I know people love. Like the song Living Like a Soldier, which was my first album. Living Like a Soldier is a song that represents every person who had to leave their mother's house. You know what I mean? And go get it. You know what I mean? And every time I sing that song live, which is rare, but when my family knows, like if I show up at a family reunion or somewhere they are singing that song, or they trying to make me sing it, right? It's a song that touches the people,
Right.
So I just want to, when all things are said and done, I want people to know that I was someone that could mess with the best of them. You know what I mean? Not that I'm saying I was the best, but I could mess with the best of them. Like if they had R&B battles of people, I'm gonna give you one example if y'all don't mind. Right?
Oh my.
All right, so when I get shows or get some people will call me and say, "Can you do this? But can you also sing a song that everybody knows?" I usually don't do it. I have done it, don't get me wrong, but at this point in my life, unless I have a large set, right? I don't usually sing other people's songs because I got this small window to give you me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't want to get up there and sing somebody else's song.
Right.
That doesn't represent me. You're gonna judge me off of singing that person's song. Now, if it's something that I know I got a full band with me and I'm singing Lauryn Hill for somebody, that's different. Then I know I'm gonna kill it. But if I'm just doing a set and you got your tracks and this, that, and the other, I'm gonna do me.
Right.
I'd rather not do somebody else because you know him already, you know her already. So and Magic taught me that. He was like, dude, don't get up there and do nobody else stuff.
Right.
And so that's where I got that confidence from. Like, I don't care if you know my song or not. Because when I leave, you're like, yo, he was good.
Right. And you gonna know my song when I leave.
And I'm gonna look him up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because of me, not because if I sing, somebody else's song that you may know, he just did good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he did their song great.
Yeah.
But if I did a song that you never even heard before and you bobbing to it, because it's hard to get somebody to bob to a song they never heard before. For the first time they hearing it right down for your ear, so.
Right.
I hope that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. But what we're about to do right now is it is time for the Smoke and Ice lightning round.
Oh man.
First thing that comes to mind, quick answers only.
Oh man.
All right. It's going to be easy, I promise you.
Okay.
I promise you.
Do I need to take another swallow?
Look, go ahead. Take one. All right. Michael Jackson or Stevie Wonder?
Mike.
All right. Songwriter or performer?
Performer.
New York or home?
Home.
Okay. Studio or stage?
Stage.
Nice. I love that. Oh my gosh. See, I'm like studio. No.
The reason why I say stage does something to me. But because I was already in the studio to get to the stage.
Right.
So the stage is the ultimate goal.
Right.
As an artist.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
It is. No, it is. It is.
And even with writing, like if I would have thought about it longer, like you said, this is fast, I would have said writing.
Right.
But you said writing and what?
Wait, hold please. Songwriter or performer?
Yeah, so I would have said songwriter because that's gonna get you paid, right? You know what I mean? But performer is what I love.
Right.
That makes sense.
But so you answered it right because
right.
Your love is gonna always come out.
Right.
All right. So favorite love song?
Rick James and
Tina
Turner.
Tina Marie.
Tina Marie, sorry.
That's okay. I got your back.
Rick James and Tina Marie.
Fire Desire.
My favorite love song ever.
Wow.
Ever.
So one artist you love to write for?
Right now?
Yes.
Living.
Okay.
You said, is this living or dead?
Living.
Okay.
Living, because if it's right now, you can't write for somebody that's not here.
I would love to. Oh, this had to be quick. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, pause is okay.
I would love to write a song for Beyonce. That's gonna bring in the most money.
Look, that'll set you. That's it up here.
I would love to write a song for Beyonce. If not Beyonce, it will probably be Usher.
I can see that.
Because I actually had a song for Usher. They wanted it, and that's a long story. That's another.
We're gonna bring you back for that one.
Yeah.
But I can see Usher. I can see both.
Yeah.
But I can see Usher because y'all kind of on the same.
Right.
But yeah, I can see both. Biggest lesson music has taught you?
Biggest lesson that music has taught me. Trust your instinct.
You've been in this game for a long time, so this next one is not really you, it's just anyone. What is the most underrated quality in an artist?
I think artists are always underrated. I think they're the most disrespected people in every business of life. I think producers disrespect them. I think everybody disrespect artists because they treat them like they're dumb. And, I'm sorry, I went somewhere else.
No. Listen, I think you might need to go there though.
Because artists are always, when AI first started popping, you hear all these producers saying, well, I don't have to worry about this headache and this, that, and other. You guys give us headaches too. You guys don't want to pay us properly. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to pay us when we're in the studio, but you always want us to pay. You know what I mean? And we're always the ones that's not being paid properly. Always. Until you blow up, that's when you really get your paper. But I think artists are the most disrespected people on earth when it comes to business.
Wow. All right.
That's just heartfelt.
No, and heartfelt is always great. I'd rather heartfelt than something else just to give me an answer.
And
I love heartfelt.
A lot of examples of that, but go ahead.
Okay. Legacy or success?
Legacy.
All right. And what do people misunderstand most about Christopher Terrell?
They think that a lot of people think that I'm like this perfect guy. And I like this is my first time like smoking in front of people. Like I smoke with my guys and behind the scene and things of that nature. Smoke my cigars. They think I may not curse, but if you move me the wrong way, you understand? Like they don't know what I would do to you if you hurt my family, my kids. You know, like people have always took my kindness for weakness because I was taught that.
Right.
But there's another side that I don't play games like that. Like I don't like disrespect. You know, I'm very. My dad always told me to be slow to anger. You know what I mean? And I had to practice that.
It is a practice. That's why when you said that, I took a deep breath because I was like, that's
a
practice.
That's
a practice.
Because initially, when I was young, I was very feisty. Like between like my, say, first grade to fifth grade, I was, you know, and then my middle school year, it seemed like I got soft. Like, you know, you learning about God, you thinking things through. You think, because most people who think will get caught out there quick. So, you know, I remember I would get angry and cry. I hated that about myself. You know, like I would get so mad I would cry, and I didn't like that. I remember I almost got into a fight with somebody, and it was a friend of mine, you know, trying to bully me. I used to get bullied when I was in 6th grade. But I remember this guy wanted to fight me, and I started crying. But I know I could beat his behind. Does that make sense to you? But
I know I got you.
I didn't want to fight him. You know what I mean? So after years on years of people abusing and taking my kindness for weakness, I went through a thing like we were saying earlier, and I was angry. So now everything triggered the anger me. Like that side was It was too much.
Right. And
I had to pull it back and contain myself and not put myself in those situations where I could get myself killed.
Right.
Because you know what I mean, like
because we don't live in a day and age where everybody is you know throwing up the fist. Now people pulling out stuff and everything else, so we have to be comfortable.
Yeah,
we have to be comfortable enough in ourselves and quiet that noise in our head to tell us to act in order to be able to just be. Right. Especially when we got other people that we've got, you know, around us that are depending on us and everything else like that. See, I need to bring you back because we got so much more to talk about.
Absolutely.
But we are almost done. So I've got a bonus right here. What is one thing in any interview that you've never been asked that you want people to know about you?
You want to ask me?
I want to know.
That you said
that you want our audience to know. It's never been asked. So this is something that you have always said, well, y'all never asked that question. What is that one thing that you just want people to know about you? Whether it's your career, whether it's your anything that you want your fans to know about you.
We turned down Puff's record deal.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
You know,
and not throwing Puff under the bus because I'm one of the guys that I still respect him because of what he did for me.
Right.
But we turned this deal down.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That was big because back then it wasn't what we know now, right? And so that was something that, you know, most people will look at you and say, well, why did you do that? Because you could be here, and that. But you do what's best for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where it comes from, who it comes from. It matters if it is in line with you. Because when you're in line with yourself,
Yeah.
the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
There's nothing. But when you take something just for money,
Yeah.
everything fizzles and falls out.
Exactly.
We might not be sitting here right now had you
Correct.
taken that.
Absolutely.
So we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. Well, listen, it has been so amazing. Christopher, thank you so much for being here
Thank you
with
for
me
having
today. Your story reminds us that great music begins with great storytelling, and your commitment to authenticity is what continues to resonate through every project you create. And I love that for you. To everyone watching and listening, thank you for joining us for another episode of Smoke and Ice. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, because if you don't, I can't be here. Until next time, I'm Kelly.
Christopher Terrell, aka R&B Terrell.
Let's spark something real.
Wow.
Yay!
Thank you.
Twice as nice. I'm your vice. Smoke and ice.
We hope you've enjoyed Smoke and Ice with Kelly Allen. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe. Tell a friend so they too can be informed and entertained. For more information about the show, go to smokeandice.net.